Hi, Bennett. My name is Peyton Pichol. I'm Dr. Livingston's student assistant, and I am super excited to be featuring you this week. So, will you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, it's nice meeting you. My name is Bennett Morris. I am from the mountains of Santa Cruz, um, up in the hills there, and from the town over in Los Gatos. I'm a freshman here on campus. I'm living in Cerro Vista, and yeah, part of the braid department, getting brand new to it.
Sweet, sweet. So, how has
hmm
online school been going for you?
It's been good. I've been super lucky in Bray where I've got 5 classes, but 3 of them get to be in person. So um, I've definitely been luckier than a lot of people have been of getting to have so many in-person classes. So it's it's been going pretty well.
Yeah, so you're enjoying your labs?
Yeah, getting to be in the workshop, using the tools, all that stuff. Just
What's your, what's your favorite class so far?
probably the labs and safety, just because that's what I enjoy most, being hands-on, getting to build projects and create things for sure.
Awesome.
hmm
So, I know that you're a freshman, so I wanted to ask you what you're involved in, or what you've gotten involved in, or what you're looking to get involved in within the Bray department.
So within the braid department, I've definitely done a little bit of looking into AES or the Grow Crew. Those are both things that I've definitely been kind of interested in. I've asked Professor Liu about the robotics team there. That's definitely something I'd like to get into more, because that's eventually a field I'd love to be able to get into. But I haven't, because being so new and everything being online, I haven't really been able to get super involved with anything yet. But I've definitely done my snooping around at those groups to try to get involved.
Awesome. That
hmm
totally makes sense. And I'm glad that
hmm
you have interest in some of the
Yeah.
clubs within the department. So, have
hmm
you been doing anything at the university level, anything on campus, or anything in the San Luis Obispo area?
Really, I've just been kind of exploring the area, going on hikes, and then going out surfing really whenever possible. Just being able to be out there, enjoy the beaches, enjoy the water. I mean, it's so crazy beautiful out here that
Yeah,
just being outside and getting to enjoy it is amazing.
definitely. I love living in San Luis Obispo right now. I'm sure a lot of
It's
students
it's
do.
crazy. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
speaking
Thank
of,
God we can be on.
yeah, that's really nice having labs and being
Yeah.
able to live here. Yep.
hmm
So, speaking of being outdoorsy and stuff, I saw that you're featured in the Slow Tribune the other day
hmm
for rescuing a little girl in the ocean.
Yes. So this was last Saturday at around 3 o'clock. Um, my girlfriend and I were out there, and we've been surfing since about noon, and um, we we were out there. We were tired, so we were kind of out in just the whitewash where it was about chest high. And throughout the day, there was this group of women that were out there, this large group of Muslim women. And or I'm assuming Muslim women because they had many, all their layers of hijab, like cloth on them. And they were out in the water. And there was this young girl that was with them who was maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, um, who was out there with them. And the dangerous part was, for these women, it was about chest high, but for this girl, it was, shoulder high. And I guess what happened was at some point she just got picked up by a wave and brought out just enough where her feet couldn't touch the bottom. And they were in she brought out, and her clothes, because she was in so many layers of cloth, she got so waterlogged and so heavy that she couldn't keep her head up. And so my girlfriend and I were there in the water, and I heard this woman yell something, and I turn over and look, and she's pointing out into the water and saying, "Can you go help her?" And obviously very frantic. And I look out, and I just see this small black bump just out of the water, and it was her face, trying to keep her face out of the water. And every now and then, a hand would come up trying to keep herself up. So I just went straight out for her, went out to grab her. And right as I got to her, she had gone unconscious and went face down in the water and started to sink. So I grabbed her, I pulled her up as much as I could, and kind of pulled her so her arms could get over onto the board. And when I pulled her out of the water, she woke back up. And so she grabbed onto the board, and unfortunately, right as I got to her, another large set of waves started to come in, and we were just in a bad spot for it. And a wave hit us, and it knocked us kind of both off the board, but I managed to stay holding onto the board with my left arm, and I used my right arm, went under her arms, put her back right on my chest so I could just keep her afloat so she could breathe, and just tried to kick back in. And it was a case of, with all the waves coming in, every time a wave would come, I'd tell her, 3, 2, 1, okay, hold your breath. And we'd hold our breath, wave would go over us, and I'd immediately try to pick her back up out of the water. And the scary thing was that worked for, 1 or 2 waves. And then at one point went to pull her back up and realized that she had gone unconscious again. And what I was kind of worried about was there was my girlfriend came near on her surfboard, and another woman came by on her surfboard. And so when that wave went over, I was worried that maybe one of their boards had hit her and knocked her unconscious again. But kept paddling back with her, and the good thing was she would wake up for a few seconds and then go back out. So I at least knew that she was still breathing, because she would become conscious again and then go back out. Got her into where it was shallow enough, where all the women came running over, and they were frantic and they were terrified. And I got her to where it was shallow enough that I could put my knees under her, and I went to try to lift her up. So one arm under her back, one arm under her legs, and I couldn't move her at all. She was so incredibly heavy, and this was a small girl too, so she was maybe 80 pounds, but with all of the water in her clothing, she was so incredibly heavy, on top of me just being absolutely exhausted. So I'm assuming it was 2 of her brothers, about 14 years old. I had them grab her legs. I had 2 of the women grab her arms. And so all the women were so terrified that none of them had actually gone to go get a lifeguard. So I had to point at one of them and say, okay, you see that blue lifeguard station? Go there now. Like, get them here. And so she took off running, and we carried her up to where it was more shallow and got her laid down. And I went to feel if she was breathing, but it was so faint, and I was breathing so heavy myself that I couldn't even tell if she was breathing. But luckily, right as I went to feel for that, the lifeguards came in and they took over, checked her vitals, made sure she was okay, got her onto a stretcher, and then up towards the parking lot where CAL FIRE and an ambulance had shown up to make sure that she was okay. And so I went back, grabbed my board out of the water, and just sat down exhausted. And I was there for, a minute or 2, and then got back up, grabbed my stuff, went back towards the parking lot where the truck had come out. But the good thing was, when I got there back to the parking lot, she was sitting up in the back of the truck, and she was there, she was breathing. So, thank God that she was actually awake. And I felt so much relief the second I saw her up and moving. And we got the boards put away, and they checked her, made sure she was good, and she started to leave with, I'm assuming it was her parents. And I walked up to her, and I'm so glad that you're okay. And I don't think the parents really recognized me at all. I don't think they really knew who I was, but the girl just had this very embarrassed smile on her face that it seemed like she recognized who I was, and that was definitely something special to have her recognize that. And I asked her if she wanted a hug, and she just gave me this big hug and squeezed me super tight, and it, told her I was so glad that she was alive. And it was definitely a crazy moment for sure.
Wow, yeah. Very, very heroic story. Thank you so much for being there, and to your girlfriend for
Yeah.
being like attentive and just
Yeah.
good citizens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she definitely, after we left the beach and stuff, she was the one totally taking care of me, making sure I was okay and that I was doing well, all that stuff. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was definitely definitely something to remember. I'll say that. Definitely definitely an experience to remember. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, now you're kicking back into school in week
Yep.
4. Love
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's about all I have for you, Bennett. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's
Yeah, of course.
very impactful, and it's nice to hear that there are good people out there.
I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I know so many people else would have done the exact same thing. So I just happened to be there. And it's just a good reminder for anyone who's out there. Just be aware of what's happening, because you never know what can happen. I had no idea something like that was going to happen that day. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bennett.
Of course.
I can't wait for you to see this video in your Student of the Week
Well, thank you
feature.
so much.
Awesome.